Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. We're so excited that you are here, that you're part of the service. I see Leah and Lacey and Caleb and Sarah. I see Kaylin. Thanks so much for jumping in. I love when you guys comment right away because it allows me to know that you're there, that it's not just me talking into an empty void. So thank you so much for letting me know and commenting your name. I'd encourage the rest of you to do that now. We actually have a lot happening in tonight's service, so we're going to kind of get right into it. We still have an opening video, and during this time, this is the time to share the stream. This is the time to comment that you're here, to say hi to one another. This is just a simple, fun video from the guys at Dude Perfect, and this is just a little clip of one of their videos that they did in quarantine. So let's watch together as more people join on.
Beginning sanitation process.
Honey, I'm home. Start the 3-day countdown on these groceries.
I always knew I was a Lego guy. You gotta try ribs. They take up like half your day. The two greatest whip crackers to ever live, Indiana Jones and soon to be me.
Who knew working on engines was so fun?
Ha! Did you get a load of that, Bill?
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
This one's pretty good, I just forgot to make eye holes.
Got attacked by birds in the parking lot.
Best one yet, but not super breathable. Who knew a pot lid would work?
Didn't think about that.
Hey, man, you just leave it right there. Good seeing you.
You too.
Enjoy the day. I just cleared this an hour ago.
I'm gonna eat so healthy, by the time this is over, my friends won't even recognize me.
It's not like this thing's gonna last for a month, so this is just a quick detour.
Mom, furnace and the blizzard's here! They're at the door right now!
Hey, want some pizza? Oh, this is a biscuit. Here you go. No, that's mine. I don't share.
Hey guys, you can go check out the full video on their YouTube page. This is the last week in a series that we're doing called Atypical. And the idea is we're looking at families in the book of Genesis that were atypical. And the idea has been to just encourage all of us that there is no normal family. Like, all families are atypical. And that's okay. God still wants to use your family to do some great things, and that's what we've looked at throughout the book of Genesis. So each week what we've done is we've looked at and given you guys a few questions on Instagram, and we've shown them as we've started each week. And so I want to go through the polls that we did earlier today on Instagram to give you all a chance to comment, and it kind of just gets you thinking about where we're heading for the service at night. And these particular polls are all messed up. Okay, so the polls are on Instagram, and they basically are in the concept of forgiveness. And so, would you forgive a sibling if they were doing these things? So it's kind of like a would you rather type thing. And so the would you rather is, would you rather have your sibling, would you forgive them for stealing your money or stealing your friend? The second one was, would you rather forgive your sibling for lying to you or lying about you to someone else? And the last one, would you rather forgive your sibling for pushing you or for embarrassing you? And so a lot of these were a little bit one-sided, and so we'll see how you guys stand in some of these questions. And the idea is to get you thinking about where we're heading tonight, which is talking about forgiveness. Now, we've all been in these situations. Maybe not these exact things that happened, but we've all been in a position where we've needed to forgive someone because they've hurt us. Or we've been in a position where we need to seek forgiveness because we've hurt them. And the reason why is because we're not perfect. And our families are made up of people who are not perfect. And so we kind of have to understand how we can place ourselves into this balance of understanding that we're not perfect, our families are not perfect, and so there's going to be mistakes and there's going to be conflict, and that's something that we've been really focusing on the past few weeks. Now, in terms of forgiveness, here's kind of the big thing that marks a typical family from an atypical family. See, a typical family, in the face of conflict, here's what can happen. They can be caught in bitterness or anger or revenge. They can desire to seek after those negative things. And the atypical family, they go in the opposite direction. They don't pursue those same things. They're willing to pursue forgiveness. And this is, all families can be used by God. That's been the purpose this entire series, is helping us all understand that every family can be used by God for good things. That's what we've seen in all the families that we've studied so far throughout the book of Genesis. We're going to look at one more here tonight. Before we get there, we're going to do our first of 2 Minute to Win It videos. We had a lot of you participate. We had 24 of you film a video of you doing a Minute to Win It challenge, and we're going to watch them all tonight. I wasn't going to play them all tonight, but I'm going to play them all because they're fun and I wanted to share them with you. And so this is the first video, which has 3 different challenges. Okay? So let's watch together. Let's see who won.
This game is called Face the Cookie. The contestants place one cookie on their forehead and using only their face muscles need to maneuver the cookie to their mouth. Let's meet today's contestants. Sarah Albright, Leah Williams, Lacey Noel, Kendall Orange. This game is called Unicorn Stack. Contestants have 1 minute to stack as many cookies on their head as possible. Whoever gets the most in one stack wins. Let's meet today's contestants. Ellie Rich, Taylor Orange, Sophia Snyder, Reese Sells. This game is called a bit dicey. Each contestant is given 6 dice, and they have to stack the dice on a popsicle stick hanging from their mouth. The person who can stack all 6 dice the fastest wins. Let's meet today's contestants. Caleb Albright, Shane McDaniel, Gabriel Romo, Haven Fellers.
Hey guys, great job with that. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun filming all of you. Congrats to those who won. Well, hey, we're going to continue on through the book of Genesis. And we've looked at several families. We're going to finish out with this family that kind of finishes out the book of Genesis. And we're going to use the Bible Project video to give you a quick recap of this family, and then we'll examine some of the stories in Genesis. So if you have a Bible, go grab it, turn to the book of Genesis, and let's watch a short recap of this family together as we begin.
So Jacob goes on from there to have 12 sons, big family. But Jacob loves his 11th son, Joseph, way more than all the others. And so he gives him the special Technicolor dream coat. And his brothers, because of this, come to hate him.
So much so that they plan on killing him.
But they don't. They instead just sell him as a slave down in Egypt.
Now, while in Egypt, through this crazy series of events, Joseph goes from being in a prison cell to becoming the second in command there.
And so later on, the whole Middle East falls into this food shortage. And Joseph's brothers, they come down to Egypt looking for food. And then when they get there, who should they find as the ruler of the whole land?
It's Joseph, that guy they sold into slavery. But he actually saves them from starving to death.
And so here you have it. These are the great-grandchildren of Abraham who have done this heinous act to their brother. But God has transformed their evil into something good.
And that's exactly what Joseph says here in the last paragraph of the entire book. He says, you guys planned all of this for evil, but God planned it for good, to save people's lives.
Now these words, they conclude the book because they actually summarize the message of the whole story so far. Humans keep choosing evil, and we are thinking they're screwing up God's plan, but he keeps turning their evil back into good. And somehow, he's going to use this family to restore humanity back to the garden.
So that's the book of Genesis.
So in chapter 37, that's where we're going to begin. We kind of get a first glimpse at Jacob's relationship with his brothers. Look at chapter 37, verse 4. It says this, "But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and could not speak peacefully to him." So you see that there's jealousy, there's anger, there's all these things that are existing in this family, and really it's a result of their father, Jacob, giving special privilege to Joseph. And Joseph seemed to be the kind of guy that was almost like rubbing it in their faces a little bit. I mean, he kept having these dreams that his family would kind of be bowing down to him. I mean, they were certainly given by God, and they are fulfilled later on, as we just saw. But he's not really helping his case with his brothers, and they're just forming this anger and this hatred toward him. And you see what happens if you continue reading down chapter 37. They just get tired of it. They just get tired of Joseph and like his favorite son act, so they devise this plan to get rid of him. They throw him in a pit. they stage his death, they sell him into slavery. And so this is kind of where their breaking point happens in this family as the result of their jealousy and anger and frustration. And so there's, again, more family drama, the same family drama that we've experienced and seen all throughout these different families throughout the book of Genesis. But we see time and time again. And I know some of you guys may have been in this position before where you had to come and to a point of forgiveness. I can't imagine this level of forgiveness that would need to exist between Joseph and, I mean, could you imagine that type of hurt that your family did to you? And that's what Joseph had to simply overcome. When we kind of see how this story ends in the video that we just watched, God lifts Joseph to second in his kingdom. He's in charge of all of the food supply, and so everyone is coming to Joseph from all over the area because there's a famine, and Joseph has all of the food, and he's in charge of it. And so his brothers, they come, and they're bowing before him like Joseph had dreamed. And instead of continuing to harbor bitterness and anger, Joseph chose to forgive. Let's finish this story in Genesis chapter 50, because not only does Joseph give his brothers food, he gives them something that they didn't really deserve, his forgiveness. Starting in verse 15, chapter 50, when Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "It may be that Joseph will hate us and pay us back for all the evil that we did to him." So they sent a message to Joseph saying, "Your father gave this command before he died. Say to Joseph, please forgive the transgression of your brothers and their sin, because they did evil to you. And now please forgive the transgression of the servants of the God of your father." Joseph wept when they spoke to him. His brothers also came and fell down before him and said, "Behold, we are your servants." But Joseph said to them, "Do not fear, for am I in the place of God? As for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring it about that many people should be kept alive as they are today. So do not fear, I will provide for you and your little ones." Thus he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. Try and put yourself in Joseph's shoes. Because he had every right to be angry. He had every right to be bitter and frustrated and upset with his brothers. I mean, it was a pretty horrible thing that they did. And yet, he wasn't willing to hold on to any of that stuff. He was willing to forgive. We're going to kind of wrap this up in just a few minutes, but I want you to see the other Minute to Win It videos. Let's watch those together real quick.
This game is called Pennyfoes. Contestants have 1 minute to collect 2 pennies from the ends of pair of pantyhose. They cannot use anything but their hand muscles. Let's meet today's contestants. Cameron Orange, Ian Rich, Skylar Fellers, Clay Houston. We are playing 2 games this time. One player is playing up in the air and trying to keep 3 balloons up in the air for 1 minute. We discovered it was too windy, and so the other contestants have 1 minute to stack as many cookies on their head as possible. Whoever gets the most in one stack wins. Let's meet today's contestants. Connor Sigmund, Carly Snyder, Brooke McDaniel, Eli Dom Landon. This game is called Bobblehead. Each contestant has a pedometer strapped to their head. They need to move and shake their head to achieve the highest step total. Whoever gets the most steps wins. Let's meet today's contestants. Emily Sutphin, Macy Sells, Emma Snyder, Kaylin Rich.
All right. Hey, I had a lot of fun. Thanks so much for participating. So I want to finish up today by kind of giving you some action steps, because it's an important thing, understanding how we can forgive. And this is such a key and important thing in families because, like we said in this whole series, our families aren't perfect, and we're not perfect. And so there's going to be hurt. And so it's important that we understand how we can move to this place where we're not harboring bitterness or anger or frustration, but where we're actually truly and honestly able to forgive someone that hurt us, where we're willing to go and ask for forgiveness when we've hurt someone. Now, before we get into these kind of action steps, I know that there may be some of you that have had some real and maybe even ongoing hurt from your families, like emotional or some kind of physical abuse. I want you to know that these action steps aren't necessarily for those that are experiencing continual hurt and pain in their families. The action step for you, if that's you, is to find an adult that you can trust and simply pour into and let know what's going on. That's one of the reasons why we love to connect with you, because we love to have a place where you can connect with adults who you can trust. And so if that's you and your situation, please let us know. We can try and help in any way you can. But if that's not you, here are some things and some action steps that you can take to make forgiveness kind of part of your family structure, kind of part of what you normally do as an atypical family. Okay, the first is that you need to admit that you've been hurt. All right, don't deny the fact that you're feeling some kind of pain. All right, admit that there's a hurt there. And tell God that you need help. Because God, I need to forgive them. Please help me forgive them. And then it's asking God to heal the parts of your heart that have been hurt. It's fourth, choosing to focus on moving forward instead of what's happened in the past. And last, it's forgiving yourself and asking for forgiveness, because sometimes we're the ones that cause the hurt. I mean, this is kind of simple things that we can do. And forgiveness is not really a simple process, because it's always introducing us and putting us in the forefront of some kind of pain. Whether you were the one who was giving the pain or receiving this painful moment. It's what makes forgiveness so difficult. But it can be a simple process actually going through this in your family. Each week we've given you some questions to kind of start thinking about what this could mean for you and how it could change things in your family. And so how could forgiveness change your attitude or perspective? How could it change the person you're fighting with? And how could it begin to change your family's behavior, the pattern that it's already started to form? What could begin to change if you were to do this more often? All right, because forgiveness is not simply going to happen. Someone needs to take the initiative and actually put these things into practice. And so what we're going to do as we close here is kind of give you a chance to reflect on that. So try and find something that you can write with and write on. Just take some notes. What we're going to do is we're going to play a short video that's got a song about forgiveness. I mean, you can just simply listen to the lyrics, but there's a couple of questions that are going to go on the screen that are just simple prompts to help you get into this mindset of, okay, who is it that I can extend this to, that I can begin this process of showing forgiveness to or seeking forgiveness from, because there's some kind of conflict. And we want to give you a chance to just simply reflect on that. So let's take a minute and together zero and focus in on these two key questions.
To the water under the bridge, I'll bring my heartache and my brokenness.
guys, we talked about some challenging and difficult things during this series. And, you know, I just simply want you to, as we finish out this 4-week topic on family, I want you to just simply remember that yeah, your family's unperfect. Your family is not normal. That's okay. That's what we see all throughout Scripture, is God using people that aren't perfect. And so God can do that through your family. So pray for your family. Be willing to have tough conversations with your family, and be willing to step into the place and simply forgive your family for the hurt that they may have caused you in your life. Let me pray. God, thank you for all that you do. We're thankful for this time together. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to talk about our families, God, because we are with our families so often. And we need to know, God, how you expect us to relate to one another, how you expect us to handle some of the difficulties and challenges. Help us to know how we can communicate effectively with one another. God, and ultimately what we want to do is we want to be individuals in our families who are honoring you with our decisions, with our choices, with our attitude. And so help that to be what we consistently work and pursue on how we can honor you in our families. God, use each family that's represented here to do amazing things for your kingdom. And it's in your name that we pray. Amen. All right, let's pick some winners here tonight. We have a lot of you in the spinner here. Before we get to that, just a couple of quick announcements. Okay, tomorrow night, 7:30, we'll be back on Zoom. We haven't decided what game we're going to do yet, so let us know what you think. Like, what should we do tomorrow night on Zoom? I'm open to suggestions. I'm not promising that I'll take any of your suggestions, but, you know, feel free to comment away and let us know what you think would be fun to do on Zoom tomorrow night. That's at 7:30. Again, like every other time, we're going to send the video out through, the links out through email and text, okay? So make sure you're getting those so that you can jump on and get the room code and the password and all that, okay? So tomorrow night at 7:30. Also, this Sunday, we're actually coming back to church live. And so we encourage you to do that. We have a lot of seats blocked off. We're using a bunch of different rooms here at church, so we're trying to keep it as safe as possible, and we're still going to have some social distancing, but we would love to see you and even just talk from a distance. We would really, really love that, and we hope that you're willing to be part of the service this Sunday. Okay, those are the announcements that we have. Let's get going with the spinner here. All right, so hopefully you see your name up there. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Sarah. All right. I think they spelled your name wrong. That's okay. Sarah, you are going to get a $5 gift card to Chick-fil-A. Thank you so much for participating, for being here, for being part of the service. We're gonna keep going. We'll see you back next week. We'll see a lot of you on Zoom tomorrow. Bye.